There's a power in Formula One that almost nobody talks about. Ferrari can veto any regulation change in the sport, not block it, not delay it, kill it. And the crazy part isn't that Ferrari has it, it's that every single other team on the grid voted to let them keep it. To understand where this came from, you have to go back to 1980. F1 was at war with itself. Bernie Ecclestone was leading the teams, FOCA, and the FIA's predecessor, FISA, was on the other side. They needed a truce, so they called a summit to hammer out what would become the Concorde Agreement, the contract that governs how the sport is run. The meeting was held at Maranello, not because it was convenient, because Enzo Ferrari didn't travel. That detail alone tells you everything about the leverage he carried. Ferrari's argument was simple. Every major team, Williams, Lotus, McLaren, was based in Britain. They could all get in a room, agree something between themselves, and present it to Ferrari as a done deal. He was isolated in Italy. He needed protection, and so he made the veto a condition of his signature on the Concorde Agreement. Everyone agreed, and it's been in every version of that document ever since. So what does the veto actually do? Ferrari can block any regulation change they believe goes against their interests. Sporting regs, technical regs, if Ferrari can argue it hurts them specifically, they can stop it. It doesn't require a vote, it doesn't require consensus, it just stops. The wording was tightened in the 2013 Concorde Agreement. Ferrari now has to prove the rule works against them, not just object in principle. But that threshold isn't exactly hard to clear when you're a manufacturer who can argue almost any standardization hurts your brand value. The veto has only been formally triggered once. In 2009, Max Mosley proposed an optional budget cap for teams. Ferrari filed an injunction with a French court in Paris to stop it. They lost, not on the merits, but on procedure. They hadn't raised the veto at the right meeting, so the court ruled it hadn't been properly invoked. Ferrari considered an appeal, then the FIA just dropped the budget cap anyway. So technically, Ferrari's one attempt to use the veto failed in court, and they still got the outcome they wanted. Then in 2015, they used it again, this time properly. The FIA proposed a cap on the price teams could charge for customer engines. It went to a vote. The majority approved it. Then Ferrari vetoed it. Proposal dead. That's how it works when it's used correctly. The most interesting part of this story. Jean Todt, the FIA president who ran Ferrari for over a decade, wanted the veto gone by 2020. He said publicly he was against it. And when he went into the 2013 Concorde negotiations and asked every team in the room what they thought, every single team voted to keep it. Ecclestone wanted it kept. The teams wanted it kept. Todt was the only one against it. The only one. Which tells you the veto isn't just a Ferrari weapon, it's a structural feature the entire paddock has chosen to preserve. Some teams genuinely think it's useful to have a check against the FIA forcing through radical rule changes. Others probably just don't want to be the team that picked a fight with Ferrari over it. Either way, the veto doesn't need to be used to be powerful. The threat of it shapes every regulation negotiation in the sport. Ferrari doesn't need to say anything. Everyone in that room already knows what the ceiling is. The 9th Concorde Agreement was signed in 2025. Ferrari retained the veto. They also kept their historical bonus payment, a percentage of the prize fund they receive regardless of where they finish in the championship. And with 2026 regulations already generating chaos across the paddock, energy harvesting controversy, the FIA emergency summits, teams openly questioning the rule framework, the veto sits there quietly in the background. Ferrari haven't needed to reach for it. But in a season where the regulations are this unstable, the fact that one team holds that card matters more than ever. To me, the Ferrari veto is one of the most honest things about how F1 actually works. Everyone talks about the sport as this level playing field governed by the FIA and the rules, but the rules themselves can be stopped by one team, and every other team keeps voting to let them keep that power. That's not a conspiracy, it's just F1.